My name is Kris Krohn. Today we're going to talk about the best way to invest in your 20s. For me, my 20s was my time to actually become financially free so that when I got out of college, I never had to have a job. And today I'm going to share with you 4 of the most important principles that allowed that to happen for me and that can allow that to happen for you. Warning, some of the information I'm going to share with you is highly controversial. These are things that you either haven't learned in school or college, and some of these are things that people would not want you to learn. So I just want you to be aware of that up front because some of my ideas are not popular, but I will tell you this, they work. I've been retired since 26, so well over a decade ago. And since then, I've had a chance to visit 40 different countries. I lived in multiple really huge, beautiful houses. I've been able to drive whatever car that I want. And, honestly, my results really speak for themselves on thousands of properties, now best-selling author. I've been able to help a lot of people create financial freedom. I am a co-creator of financial freedom. And if you like the sound of having more of that in your life, then subscribe because every day I've got new content coming your way designed to help you become financially free. Now, what I want to start with these 4 rules, the first one is definitely something I never learned anywhere in school, which means there is something you do need to learn that you haven't been taught. You must learn how to invest. Now, if you look at any of the greats, Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, people that I've actually had as mentors, not just in books, but that I've met live, and I've been part of masterminds all over the world with some of the most successful people. And I'm going to tell you right now that when you look at some of the world's most financially successful, they got an education that you can't find in school. They actually learned about investment. They understand these basic concepts that you need to learn how to save your money and then put your money to work. In the beginning, you might start with $1,000. And imagine for a moment if you could actually double your money 20 times in a lifetime. And all you had to start with was $1,000. Well, $1,000 becomes $2,000, 2 becomes $4,000, 4 becomes 8. 8,000 becomes 16,000, 16, 32,000, 32,000 becomes 64,000, 128,000. Basically from there, $250,000 to $500,000. By the time it's doubled 10 times, $1,000 has become $1 million. Now just think about that for a little bit. That's just 10 times. If we do that 10 more times, that million becomes $1 billion. And I'm telling you right now that if you learn how to invest in one lifetime, you can learn how to take a small bit of money and turn it into something really impressive. People are doing it everywhere. I started with a handful of a few $1,000s and turned it into $1.6 million in 4.5 years. By the time I was 26, I really did walk on my job and I've never had a corporate job since. That's because I got an education in investing. And while I couldn't get it in school, you might be getting it here through YouTube, or you actually might pick me up as a mentor or a coach or join someone's program where you can say, teach me the fundamental principles of investing. Now, part of this means math. Basic math, but math, numbers, percentages. Should you learn that? I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you think you're horrible at math. You need to learn the language of business if you want to be in it. And if you want to create all that wealth, you got to figure out this education here on good investments, bad investments. So that's number 1. Okay, rule number 2. No one's going to really like me for this one, but I think you should know it. Number 2 is don't invest in typical retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, stock market, mutual funds, S&P. The world has trained us not to be people, but sheeple, which means we gather up all of our hard-earned money and what little left we have, we give to someone else so that we can be seduced by a 401k match. Now, that 401k match is real money, but not really, because you don't actually ever get to see it for like how many decades? Ron, if you learn how to invest, then one of the principles you learn is you need to make your money work for you when. That's what it is. It's putting it to work and it needs to work for you now. Now these investments, 401ks, IRAs, things the financial planners tell you should do, the reality is if these are investments, they suck. 1, they don't pay you. And 2, when they do pay you, they pay you in tiddlywinks. They don't pay you a whole lot of squat, because they're too busy earning 3, 4, 5% on average. Even the S&P that's close to 10% almost barely meets my criteria for this. Listen, if you start with $1,000 and you're trying to make 5%, you're not going to double that for a very long period of time. And remember, you only got 40 working years. which means you got to get into a real game of investing, not risking it all, flushing it away on stupid investments, learning how to invest that money and making it work for you. There's a science to that, and there's an art, and you need to learn that science and that art. Do not take your excess money and put it in these. Again, it's not a popular thing to say, but I'll tell you why I do say it. I'm a still young man. I've spent a lot of my time with people that are way older than me that have been following society's game plan. Go to college, get a degree, feel like you're smart, work for somebody else. And at the end of the day, after saving and scrimping and 401k'ing and IRAing and house payer offering, there's nothing really left over. There's a few years worth of money for retirement, and then it's back into the workforce. When you don't want to be working, when you may not be marketable. So I don't believe in doing things that are broken. I don't believe in doing things that can't get you where you want to go. Here's all I'm inviting you to do. Do the math. And if the math doesn't add up, then don't participate. Number 3, you can learn this from any of the greats that have made billions of dollars. They'll tell you that the most important person that you pay in all of your bills, it's not your mortgage, it's not your house, it's not your car, it's not your phone. You have to pay someone else, and that person to pay is yourself. This is a rule. Pay yourself first. I pay $100,000 to sit in this week-long financial retreat last year. I'm going again in a couple of weeks, and I'm sitting there with 6 billionaires in the room arguing about what is the best thing to do with your money. And they argue, but there is one thing they all agree on. You have to pay yourself first. You're the most important bill. You're the most intelligent functioning part of your entire financial system. And paying yourself first means this. You need to budget yourself to a point where 20% of your income can get paid to you. And guess what you do with that money? You don't put it here, you put it where? You put it here, you learn how to invest, you diversify, and you get into assets that have higher ROIs than these, so you actually got a shot of financially getting where you want to go. Rule number 4. This is what every one of these billionaires shares in common. Invest in real estate. Dale Carnegie, 90% of all millionaires made it where? In real estate. That should tell you something. I mean, the reality is we're doing stupid things with our money, but there are people out there that have already paved the way. They've shown the way. And the only reason why I am where I am is because I just backed up. And when I was told I was too stupid to become a doctor in college, I said, okay, I might be too stupid for chemistry, but I'm not too stupid for street smarts and common sense. And you know what common sense really tells me? It tells me that if I want to live a financially abundant life, then I should learn from those individuals that already have an abundant, prosperous life 1,000 times over. We're taking advice from the wrong people. You're taking advice from parents, friends, neighbors, church people, individuals that are trying to tell you what to do with their money, but their results don't add up. They actually don't have what you want, which means you got to start playing life by a different set of rules. It might make you feel like you're on a different track. You might lose respect from some people that just want you to follow their broken plan that is not getting them where they want to go. This, my friends, I'm going to tell you right now, by 26 being worth 1.6 million in real estate, today buying tens and tens of millions of dollars worth of real estate and what it's doing without picking up a penny of debt, I'm going to tell you right now that real estate of all of my investments is the one that makes more sense. The only other thing that I really predominantly invest heavily in is business. And it's often my business. Sometimes it's other people's business. But this is my foundation investment. So learn to invest. Don't invest in what's broken. Pay yourself before you pay your bills and put some of that money in real estate where it can grow for you. Because when we talk about doubling your money, in real estate, I double my money every 5 years. And that means every 10 years I quadruple it. And it means after that it continues multiplying it. And it means by the time I'm old and gray, going to leave this earth, it means I've got a legacy, I've got a social footprint in my charitable organizations, in my giving, and the things that I'm doing that are changing this planet. I got a plan of what I started doing in my 20s. The question is, what are you going to do in your 20s? These are 4 rules that you need to follow. Now, lastly, I will say that if you're saying, all right, Kris, I can learn this, I can avoid this, I'm going to do this, and I want this, then I want you to click the link below and get with a member of my team and say, hey, here I'm at, I'm young, and I want this money to compound over the rest of my life and become something massive instead of playing small. You can start too late in life, But if you're watching this video, it is not too late for you, especially with what I and my team can teach you. In fact, I just got a truckload of books in, and what I do with my books is I give them away to people for free that are earnest seekers trying to figure out how to figure out the game of financial life. And if you're ready for that, I want you to click the link below. You'll not only get a chance to talk to a member of my team, but you also have a chance to get my book entirely for free, and it will give you the winning game plan and the rest of the formula that can help you in your 20s, not just be a good investor, but set yourself up for life.